Welcome to Bold Talk series where creativity, leadership, ideas, and innovation come together. My name is Ludvik, and today I have a privilege to have a short one-on-one conversation with Nick Farrar, founder at Shaped by. Nick, great seeing you. Welcome to our Bold Talk series. How are you, my friend?
I'm very good, thank you, Epi, and thanks very much for having me. Looking forward to this chat.
Well, what caught my attention, Nick, was that we're both sold on bold, and I said, "Well, we gotta have a conversation and have you in this bold talk series." So, really looking forward to this talk series. First thing first, Nick, can you tell us about the inspiration behind Shade by and what motivated you to start the company?
Yes, for sure. I think I'll give you just a little potted history about where we are because it's relevant for this. So I started the agency, I think back in 2005. For a long time, we were called Work Brands. We were a very generalist agency working across a lot of different sectors, maybe mainly in the UK. And then kind of about 2018, 2019, we started to pick up a couple of clients within the tech space. And it was really innovative work, really exciting work. That and for a while, I was kind of kicking this can down the road about whether we should specialize and niche down as an agency. And then just before lockdown, I kind of sat down with the leadership team and said, yeah, right, well, actually, let's make this the best we can be. And we pivoted the agency. We changed the proposition. We changed the name from Work Brands to Shape by, completely rebranded, and kind of really focused down on tech. And there's a reason for that. So the companies that we were working with at the time before we pivoted were super bold, offering super bold, innovative solutions that were having a real impact on business or society. But there often seems to be this disconnect between the kind of boldness and bravery and innovation that the founders undoubtedly had and the way that they were coming across in the market. And we kind of started working with these companies and really asking them to embrace their bold and see actually how can we use the ambition and the bravery that you have to start up a company and go to VC and get funding and grow your company. How can we bottle that up and use it, to market you more effectively, to differentiate yourself from your competition? So, working with these companies, we really enjoyed the process. And our proposition is now completely rooted in having our clients to embrace their bold. Coming back to that bold question, embrace your bold is our strapline. We have an annual 2-day event called BYOB, Bring Your Own Bold. So it's a thread that runs through our agency, and it's the core focus of what we do.
Nice. Now, the problem that you're solving, it's in the tech companies. How are you different from other creative agencies in the market?
I think our difference is our niche. I think that there's a lot of there's a lot of creative agencies. I mean, there's 25,000 creative agencies in the UK alone and stuff. Working across all different sectors with different specialisms. I think that our uniqueness is our core offering in the B2B tech market. So we are an out and out creative agency. We're as good creatively as the other agencies around, but our understanding of the demands of marketing tech companies sets us apart, I think, from the competition. So, this journey that we've had over the last few years or so, we've gone from being a Bristol-based mid-size agency serving predominantly a UK market to still a Bristol-based mid-size agency, but our work now is almost 100% abroad. Probably 70% West Coast states, 30% Europe, nothing really in the UK. So I think that core offering that we have, and this reputation that we're getting for, being a super creative agency but serving this very niche market, does set us apart from our competition.
Great. Now, Nick, what inspired you to focus on innovative solution? And how's your how has your approach evolved over time? You mentioned about you made that pivot, um, but obviously the needs of customers today are changing every single day, right? Um, so
Mhm.
how's that helping? Where do you find yourself um, focused in terms of bringing those innovative solutions to the clients?
Well, I think we have to ensure that our clients have the appetite for innovation. That's the main thing. And I think by and large, you know, the the customers, the clients that we have within our client base welcome innovation. We're working with people who have this real need to differentiate themselves from their competition. The B2B buying cycle is all about building your brand, building your products, making sure that you're front of mind when people are starting that buying cycle. When people are starting to look to buy technology on a B2B perspective, they kind of know who they're gonna shortlist before they start that process. So there is this great appetite for generating demand for technology and solutions, or building strength in brands and brand recognition. So when we work with the VPs of brands in these organizations, or we work with the creative directors in these organizations, they have this appetite for innovation already. And I think you have to balance that need for innovation with the risk of failure. And I think that means you have to work with our clients and build those long-standing relationships where you encourage creative thoughts, and you're happy to take calculated risks. And I think to do that, it's about having good, solid relationships, but also setting very clear goals and parameters for what you're trying to achieve. I
Mm.
think to do that, you need to get buy-in from people. So to innovate, you have to research and plan and execute very, very well. If you're looking to do things, sometimes I think for smaller things, I'm an advocate for maybe asking for forgiveness afterwards. But when you're working with clients and you're trying to do things which are innovative, it really is a case of finding those clients have the appetite for innovation, working with them very closely to understand the parameters of what you're trying to do,
Yeah.
and then work very, very closely. It's all about collaboration.
Yeah, spending more time with them, understand truly their needs and how do they see it. Obviously, you got hired to do things for them and telling them not what's not going to work, but how you're gonna make things work better, right? Um,
Yeah, I do. I think it's about relationship building, isn't it? You're not gonna. Sometimes it takes that time to build up the trust, and to know when to push, and to know when to suggest things. If if you haven't got that great relationship with somebody, there is no way in the world they're gonna work with you on innovative solutions. So that trust and relationship comes before, I think, the real innovation.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I look at, like, for example, every time when I speak in a conference and people talk about B2B and B2C, I always say it's like it's basically people to people, right? The
Yeah.
relationship, the way how I define the relationship, I put them in three categories. May I share those with you?
Yeah, of course, Epi. Yeah.
So I share I liked because this really gets me clear in terms of who you deal with. So I break it down into three T's, which means the first relationship is it's a transactional relationship that you can look at it. So if it's transactional, there's nothing wrong with it, but at least you know that there's nothing else except just a transaction within that particular customer. Then you have the next one. It's the transitional. This is the second T. Basically, you look at the customer and or the partner that they, okay, well, there is something here that you can do much longer things, but also that can lead you to a next one, which is the transformational. and that's sort of
Mm.
the third T. So nothing's none of them is right or wrong. I'm just saying the understanding like who are you dealing with and where they want to go. It's very clear. This three T's help me a lot in
Yeah, definitely. And I really like that, the three T's certainly. But I think also you have to be realistic and say that within any relationship at any given time, you may be one of those three T's. So you may be doing some real transformative work for somebody, but also they need that transactional stuff in order to survive day to day. And I think knowing when to push those buttons as to, okay, what do we need to do right now? Do we need this innovation transformative relationship, or do we need to just kind of get stuff done?
yeah.
I think that's but yeah, very
Yeah.
much so.
Now, what do you see as the most significant trends happening right now in the in the creative world? I
I
mean, right
think
now,
there
for
is,
example, look at the AI, right?
yeah. Well,
Agent.
I was going to say AI. We can't ignore AI, and I think that the AI is. It seems like a cop out to say it, but it's not because it's the big unknown in virtually every sector at the moment. And I think that we have thought about AI a lot in this agency for the last the last year or so, and have put together a task force in place in the agency to look at it. And I think that AI it falls into those three kind of broad categories that we need to look at. The first one, which I think pretty much everybody is doing or they should be doing across the board, is how do we use AI to augment the everyday processes that we have in an organization. I would be very surprised if there are companies that aren't doing this in some way, shape, and form. But actually, what are the processes that we have in place to make sure that it's everybody's doing it the same way in the organization, just to help our day-to-day jobs? How is our AI bots helping us with meetings, whatever it may be? The next stage, the step up from that, is what are the opportunities for us to monetize AI? Are there opportunities for us as an agency to do that um, without it having an impact on the quality of the creative thinking and the thought and the output? That's the second part of it. The third part of it is, just being aware of what are the threats that AI offers us, and how do we mitigate those threats as an agency. I mean, you see
Yeah.
wonderful, fantastic, incredible stuff every day. You see it on LinkedIn, and you're like, "Wow, this is amazing!" And just on your shoulders, thinking, "Okay, what is the impact of this on me now, next month, in 6 months' time?" So we need to plan and mitigate those.
Um, you mentioned there are 25,000 agencies in UK alone. I wonder how many of them will be in business fast forward just 3 years from now, given the fact that we're in that exponential curve uh, of growth of AI
Uh,
pretty much in every business. And
yeah, I mean,
the ones who survive, what do you think that what they're going to look like?
oh my gosh, wow.
Hard
I need a
question,
crystal
right?
ball. Yeah, I mean, you got to think so. So the vast majority of those 25,000 are one and two man bands. That's the hope. So hopefully, these people that are, they're the driving force of the creative industry. That's where the inspiration, the ideas, and the passion comes from. So hopefully they'll find some way that they can work with AI and keep their clients, keep their passion going, keep their livelihoods going. Um, I imagine. I mean, who knows? I think I feel at the moment, for the foreseeable future, there is still this need and demand for innovation and original thoughts and ideas that haven't come from haven't come through AI. There will be processes uh, that will be done a lot quicker and a lot more cost effective. And I think if you're doing a lot of those kind of transactional relationships with clients, where you're kind of doing a lot of that kind of work, then maybe that is gonna suffer and you're going to demise. So you just think Agencies will probably be smaller. They'll be more specialized. They'll be niche. They'll um, they'll offer that creative spark that you need at the start of a journey, and then where it goes, where AI takes that, I
So
have no idea.
that leads me to think like small is a new big, because
Mm.
now you're doing more with less, right? It's amazing like the things
It's
that we're doing here at our company with AI that in the past we would probably ended up having at least like a handful of people, and now we just because we approach it with the AI mindset first. Um,
Yeah, and it's interesting that kind of doing less with, doing more with less. I think everybody, we're in. There's uncertainty all over the place. There's been uncertainty, for a long time, with in the UK Brexit, with with lockdown, with COVID, with the state of the world at the moment. We are in uncertain times, so budgets are being cut. And I think this is where we can really drive value for our clients. Take our clients on a journey to say, right, well, we understand that you're under pressure. We understand that maybe your budgets have been cut. So let's work really closely with you to understand how we can help you do more with less budget. And I think it's that's where that relationship, that transformation piece comes in. If you have those good relationships, if you have that trust, then they're going to trust you with what budget they have to really try and deliver more under under difficult circumstances. And we appreciate the hard times some of our clients are in, so we have to work with them, to carry on the success of the relationship.
yeah. Now, obviously, the Nick, you're when you think about innovative ideas, you have to try new things, and when you try new things, uh, a failure is just around the corner. What is your approach to failure when trying new things, and how do you encourage risk taking?
I think you encourage risk taking by making sure that everybody. Well, let's start with encouraging risk taking. Then what happens when it goes wrong? I think you encourage risk taking by or innovation. Risk taking and innovation are very linked. You encourage it by making sure that everybody feels some kind of autonomy to try things out. If you give people autonomy, then they need to have a very clear understanding about what you want them to achieve, and what those goals are, and how you're going to measure those goals. And as I said previously, then it's all about. I have no issue, and I encourage people to try things and to take risks as long as it's done in a well structured way. As I mentioned before, as long as things are well planned and well executed and done so that people are on board, then that's great. Inevitably, there are times when things don't work out particularly well. So risk of failure. That's what happens when you innovate. And I feel that the key to dealing with failure is being honest with yourself. Being honest about what's happened. Don't have too big an ego to admit that something's gone wrong. Be honest enough and brave enough to take those risks, but don't try and find excuses or pass the buck or shift any responsibility. I think if you take the responsibility, then you can learn from that experience and do things better and more effectively on the back of it. I think
Yeah.
if you have people's backs, and people's support when you're trying these things, if it goes wrong, then there's no blame culture. It's okay,
Yeah.
right? Well, we knew that was a risk. How do we make it better?
Yeah, I always say like, you just gotta own it. You take that, own it, take a full accountability.
Yeah.
Don't try to shy away from it. One thing that truly I learned about the people in general, COVID time was like what a lot what I saw it clearly in people. Like people kept quiet in many ways because they just don't want to they don't want to have an accountability. They don't have to take an ownership, so they allow somebody else to do it. If it goes wrong, if it's yours, if it's so it's really important, and that's one of the reason why we're bringing this knowing your power. Like bold is about knowing your power. Now, your tagline is embrace your bold, and you also have a show called Bring Your Own Bold. For us, like it's being bold, and we have these bold words. Now, what does a word bold mean to you?
I mean, I think bold for me is it's not being bold for the sake of it. I think bold is having faith and a commitment to the fact that what you're doing is the right thing to do, and then being super confident about the fact that what you're doing in your eyes is the right thing, and being proud to um, to, to talk about that in ways that are going to differentiate you from your competition, which are going to make you stand out. And for us, the whole creative process, that the creative thinking and design process is a real strong avenue for bringing out that boldness. I think there's a lot of kind of, we call them vanilla brands in every section of stuff, where people just kind of tend to kind of blend in with each other. So actually, if you embrace your bold, then you're saying actually what makes us different, and let's celebrate that and put that to the fore, in the way that we're talking about ourselves, and the way that we're looking to the market.
Yeah. Well said, Nick. Always be bold. Congrats on your successes and achievements so far. Thank you for joining me in this Bold Talk series, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Until next time, take care, be great, and be bold always.
And yourself, Epi, it's been a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you, Nick.